Welcome to the Ghana Research and Innovation Support Programs Coordinating Office. In this instructional video, I'll be taking you step by step through the standard operating procedures developed for the Ghana Innovation and Research Commercialization Center. Public research institutions, universities, and industries, collectively referred to as institutions, can also utilize these SOPs to improve the quality of their research outcome. This SOP has been formed in accordance with the GIRC-Centre innovation policy to serve the following purposes. 1. Guidance to personnel in the center engaged in the identification and development of innovations. 2. Outline non-disclosure agreements, which are NDAs, to be administered in the innovation process. For innovation to contribute to the center, it needs to be designed as a process from start to deployment. The Research and Innovation Unit, which is the RI unit, therefore exists to carry out the following functions. 1. Industry research partnerships. They are to assist GIRC-Centre researchers in finding and building relationships with industry to partner on research projects. Additionally, they are to assist industries that are interested in carrying out research with the center to connect with suitable GIRC-Centre researchers. Some of these industries are small and medium-scale enterprises, which are summed up as SMEs, large industries, not-for-profit corporations, and all levels of government. 2. Intellectual property management and licensing. They are to evaluate newly disclosed inventions and other intellectual property. Where appropriate, they are to assist with the effective transfer of center innovations to the private sector, where these discoveries can be developed for public use and benefit through licensing and startup companies. The SOP deals with the general terms and conditions that guide the process of innovation and non-disclosure, and they are: 1. The center shall establish a research and innovation unit whose staff are required to sign non-disclosure agreements, which are NDAs, with the center to maintain secrecy on discussed innovations during meetings. 2. The head of the R&I unit shall be approved by the board of directors. 3. The R&I unit is accountable to the BOD through the team lead, that's the TL. For administrative purposes, the R&I unit's head shall report to the TL. 4. In addition to reflecting the center's strong commitment to innovation, the R&I unit should facilitate ideas relevant to the center's mission and strategic research priorities. The R&I unit should develop an innovation framework or strategy to guide its work. The strategy should include the selection criteria for innovative ideas. The center has the sole responsibility to ensure that innovations, including ideas, advances in equipment, product development, materials, design, working practices, processes, and services are disseminated as widely as possible for the benefit of the society or industry. Details of an approved innovation must not be published or disclosed to any third party without non-disclosure agreements being agreed and signed by all parties, in order to retain novelty and maintain the possibility of intellectual property rights, that's the IPR. Prior to giving innovators, applicants, staff, consultants, or other entities access to research and innovation information data, R&I units of the center must ensure that non-disclosure agreements have been duly signed. Please pay closer attention. 1. Approval of GIRC-Centre's innovation. The R&I units that will be established after the inauguration date of the center will follow the procedure outlined as follows for the selection of any innovation. 1. A formal written proposal of the innovative idea will be forwarded to the team lead by the R&I unit head with the support from the most relevant program or department head. from where the innovation idea was selected. 2. Once the R&I unit head confirms that the proposal is complete, it will be forwarded to the senior management team, that's the SMT, by the R&I unit head. 3. Proposals approved by the SMT will be recommended to the board of directors for consideration by the team lead through a presentation. All proposals with supporting documentations should be submitted to the BOD prior to their meeting via emails and hard copies. 4. The R&I unit head will be notified of the BOD's decision by the TL. 5. The R&I unit implements innovation plan as presented following the center's innovation strategy. 2. Proposals, format and content. Although proposals may vary in content according to the nature of the innovation idea being proposed, all proposals, however, must address the following points. Purpose. The purpose of the innovation should be fully explained and include its aims or objectives and goals, its nature, whether research or otherwise, and proposed methods for achieving stated goals. Relevance. Proposals must demonstrate how the innovation would support the center's mission and strategic research priorities, and how the innovation will benefit the center and the community as appropriate. Budget. Detailed and fully justified budgets for each innovation proposal will accompany all proposals for an innovation. In particular, budgets will identify actual and potential financial resources, as well as how much, if any, internal funding will be requested. A projected budget of income and proposed expenditures for the first 5 years of operation should be incorporated into the research plan. Innovation plan. Proposal should indicate the innovation plan to be pursued by the R&I unit. It will consist of an innovation plan of items that are set to be implemented as part of the initial initiative. Commitments by the GIRC-Centre. Proposals must clearly define any short and long-term commitments the center will be making to the innovation, if such commitments are envisaged. This includes, for example, all infrastructural support, including accounting and administrative support. GIRC-Centre facilities. Proposals will address the question of the use of GIRC-Centre facilities, including rentals, availability of space, required library resources, use of equipment, and the question of overhead payments to the center, that is, if external funds are sourced. Innovation team. Proposals will provide details of the criteria and procedures to be used in establishing the team for each proposed innovation. If there are to be consultants and different program staff, details must be provided as to the process by which appointments will be made to each team. Appointment procedures must be made clear. A list of members must be made publicly available on the GIRC-Centre website. Training of highly qualified personnel. Proposals should address opportunities for training and mentoring other staff and researchers. 3. Procedure for selection of innovation. The R&I units that will be established after the inauguration date of the center will follow the procedure outlined as follows for the selection of any innovation. A. Innovation idea generation. The R&I units should generate a list of problems, ideas, and technologies that might be worth investing in from researches conducted at the center over a period. The selection should be done following the center's innovation strategy, which outlines the strategies for innovation selection. B. Advocacy and screening. The R&I unit should evaluate the selected innovative idea for its pros and cons, advocacy and screening have to take place at the same time to weed out ideas that lack potential without allowing stakeholders to reject ideas impulsively, solely on the basis of their novelty. This process should include conducting both an internal and an external survey. The goal is to find environments where a given problem might exist in a slightly different form to identify related internal projects already in existence and to find available solutions to problems. C. Industry research partnerships. The R&I unit of the center is the first point of contact for researchers, industry, and other external parties who wish to establish an industry academic research partnership or a research contract or agreement between center researchers and a government or non-profit organization. Once potential research partners and a research project have been identified, the R&I unit also negotiates and drafts industry-sponsored research and related contracts for the center. Researchers wishing to engage in industry-sponsored research must provide sufficient information to the R&I unit to allow suitable industry participants to be sourced. Researchers wishing to engage in industry-sponsored research must provide sufficient information to the R&I unit to allow suitable industry participants to be sourced and contracts to be drafted and reviewed. At a minimum, researchers should provide a budget, a project's title, and a synopsis. D. Reporting new discoveries. GIRC-Centre staff, associates, and consultants have an obligation to report new intellectual property developed with the center's support to the R&I unit. The center staff, associates, and consultants are encouraged to report new innovations developed with the center. GIRC-Centre support is defined as financial or other support, regardless of origin, that is used in the discovery or development of innovations and is provided through GIRC-Centre channels. The notification of new innovations should include an assertion of whether or not it refers to an invention, improvement, design, or development and should be forwarded to the R&I unit. Invention disclosure. To report new intellectual property, an invention disclosure form must be completed and submitted to the R&I unit. An invention disclosure provides the necessary information about the intellectual property for evaluation by the R&I unit. An invention disclosure for a potentially patentable invention should be submitted as soon as the inventor can describe completely how to practice the invention, but before any public disclosure. The optimum time to report a discovery or invention is when it can be described in detail and there's some data which shows the invention works. Evaluation of invention disclosure. Upon receipt of the invention disclosure, the R&I unit will review it for completeness. Incomplete invention disclosures will be returned to the inventor. The R&I unit will answer questions and provide guidance on how to complete an invention disclosure. Once the invention disclosure is complete, including provision of all supporting documentation and the execution of the option by the center's inventors of their rights, title, and interest in the invention to the center, the invention disclosure will begin to be evaluated by the R&I unit. During the evaluation period, R&I unit staff will meet with the inventor to learn more about the invention and discuss implementation strategies. However, based on the center's policy, some inventions or innovations will be outsourced for external evaluation. If the center exercises its option and takes title to the invention, the R&I unit will manage the process of patent or other IP protections as appropriate and begin the processes of marketing and licensing. In such cases, the center pays all or portion of patent, copyright, and licensing costs. Inventor participation. Throughout the evaluation and subsequent patenting, marketing, and licensing efforts, inventor cooperation and participation are critical for effective intellectual property management and licensing. If the inventor cannot or will not support the process, the R&I unit may, after consultation with the TL, choose to inactivate the invention file. In these circumstances, title to the intellectual property may remain with the center and does not revert to the inventor. The procedure will not be complete until the following steps are taken. 1. Commercialization plan development, including grant applications. After evaluation and approval by BOD of a selected innovation disclosure and the decision to take on a particular commercialization project, the R&I unit creates a plan for commercialization in consultation with the inventors. The plan includes decisions such as the suitable route for commercialization and modes for protecting intellectual property. It may also include plans to obtain financing to implement the plan or further develop the intellectual property or invention to increase the chances of successful licensing. The R&I unit will need the assistance of inventors, applicants, staff in drafting appropriate grant applications. 2. Assignment of rights. Before investing significant time and other resources into a commercialization matter, the R&I unit will require ownership of the intellectual property to be either assigned or optioned to the center. The decision of whether or not to take title rests with the R&I unit upon consultation with the TL. Many factors are considered when making this decision. When it is determined that it's not in the best interest of the center to pursue or continue to support patent protection on inventions, the R&I unit can release or waive title to the invention to the inventors. The decision to release or waive title is solely the decision of the center, but it is made in consultation with the inventors. The decision to waive title usually occurs either after the invention review is completed or after a period of marketing with no commercial interest. Upon mutual agreement, the R&I unit will prepare an assignment agreement that covers the release of rights from the center inventors. This agreement conveys all title to the invention to the inventors and relieves the center of any future rights or obligations to the technology. 3. GIRC-Centre startup companies. As part of its mission to commercialize GIRC-Centre innovations, the R&I unit will consider licensing requests from center inventors wanting to start new companies with technologies they have created. Although not obligated to do so, the R&I unit is willing to license technology to a startup company, provided that the inventors demonstrate a clear commitment and ability to develop the licensed technology and a clear business case to support ongoing operations of the startup. A business plan should be developed prior to the decision to launch a startup company to ensure that the company will be financially feasible. It is recommended that the inventor seek outside advice and guidance regarding the development of their business plan, although some assistance can be provided by the R&I unit. The plan should include description of business, GIRC-Centre innovation to be licensed, expected target market for product or service, principal competition or market barriers, projected product development timeline, management structure, including the faculty or inventor participation, capital needs and resources, that is a 5-year expense and income projections, university resources needed. The R&I unit can assist with several aspects of startup company creation and organization. The center will consider assisting in circumstances where it can obtain an equity position in the startup. The The R&I units will therefore only be able to participate in a limited number of startups and will do so when a suitable commercial promise exists. And 4. Non-disclosure agreements. Non-disclosure agreements, that's NDAs, between GIRC-Centre and innovator, applicants or staff where applicable, of an invention, project or creation separately for each project is required to be properly executed before start of any project and before beneficiary discusses their invention, project or creation with the R&I unit. One signed copy of the same is a must requirement to be given to the inventor, applicant or staff. The responsibility for its timely execution and delivery is assigned to the center's R&I unit before an inventor shares confidential and/or unprotected information with a researcher at another institution or a potential licensee. An NDA should be executed between the center and outside parties. The NDA provides the necessary protections for confidential disclosure and limits use of the information by the receiving party. The GIRC-Centre R&I unit will also consider NDAs from external parties and will review them to ensure that certain minimum requirements are met prior to signing. The NDA must be signed by the inventor, staff, applicant or consultant, an authorized representative of the center, and an authorized representative of the other party. And finally, a copy of the fully executed NDA should be returned to the R&I unit before the exchange of any information.